Jake, obviously a special week to be a part of, another big game that you get to be a part of at a new club.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously a massive game for the club and the community, so I'm just looking forward to getting out there Saturday night and seeing it all unfold before the game, and then obviously as soon as the ball bounces, it's us versus them.
How do you think you're tracking at the moment with your footy?
Yeah, look, I think we've progressed well over the last 2 weeks, but we've still got a long way to go. It's a long season, so as long as we continue to put in the work week in, week out, we'll be all right.
Personally, how are you going? And there's a bit of criticism about your fitness early in the season. Do you feel fit?
I feel the same as I did earlier in the season as I do now. So, personally, I'm just worried about doing what the team needs from me week in, week out, and that's all I've been focusing on, really.
Jake, it's only a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that Wayne Carey was suggesting you going back to the VFL for a period. Do you read, do you hear all that? Do you hear that sort of discussion and talk throughout? And how do you put up with if you do find out that sort of stuff?
I've had it my whole career. Everyone wants to drop me, but no, look, it's part of football.
Yeah.
People are going to say if you're not going that well, you're not going well, and then when you're going well, everyone tells you you're going well. So it's just part of the process.
Do you think that criticism was unfair at the time, given the team was struggling a little bit at the time? It wasn't just you?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the team wasn't going that well, so it's expected. And when we start winning, then everyone jumps off the back, so it makes life easier for everyone.
Did you change much about your game in the last few weeks, Jake?
Not necessarily, no. I probably played a little bit more midfield time, which probably helped me a little bit, but other than that, I don't think so, no.
Do you feel you've had to repay the faith of the footy club? They invested a lot in you last year to bring you and give you a fresh start. Do you feel like you've had to repay them with your footy in the recent weeks?
Don't know about repay them. Coming in here, I knew that I was going to put my head down and work hard, and it's just about getting respect to the players, and I think I've done that, and I'll continue to do that by working hard and continually putting the team first in my performance.
How difficult was it coming into a new club and playing the sort of footy you want to play?
Yeah, look, it's obviously hard, moving teams, and then, but in saying that, Essendon and the boys made it a really smooth transition for me, and they pretty much gave me the licence to pick where I wanted to play and get to train hard at it all pre-season, and for that I'm thankful that they gave me the opportunity to be able to do that.
You obviously had a lot going on last year when you're at the Dogs. I mean, this year, what sort of headspace are you in? Are you in a better place this year, do you think, now at Essendon?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone goes through their struggles in their life, and I've had mine, but I feel like I'm at a good place now, and I think it's starting to show on the footy field that I'm starting to really enjoy my footy again, which is something that I've probably missed over the last couple of years.
How much of an impact does that sort of stuff and being in that good space have on what you produce on field, do you think?
I think it has a big impact, but in saying that, you've got to be able to play under adversity, and there was probably a year or two where I wasn't very good at it, so that's good learning for me that I've probably grown up a little bit, and I seem to be going okay at the minute.
What sort of coping mechanisms is it a maturity thing as well? Is that basically what the changes that you made?
Yeah, I suppose. Potentially. I haven't really put my finger on it, but I just seem to be really enjoying my footy at the minute, and I think a fresh start was good for me.
You mentioned that you moved a little bit more in the midfield in the last couple of weeks. How does that help your footy?
Yeah, it helps me massively. I mean, you can run around at half forward and have 6 or 7 touches, and you've probably ran 9 or 10 Ks, and you feel like you're nowhere near it. But when you get to go into the midfield, at least the ball's near you, and it can sometimes you only need 3 or 4 minutes to be able to have an impact and get yourself involved in the game.
What sort of split would you like to have in a perfect ideal world? You talked about playing more in the midfield. Is there a split that you've got in your mind that you've spoken to John about? Or?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty much just comes down to whatever the team needs each quarter. That's pretty much how I play it. Different quarters I might spend a lot more time on ball, or I might spend time forward. So for me, it's literally whatever the team is. I know it probably will only last till the first quarter, and then something will change.
Do you think potentially you're trying too hard to have an impact early
on? I think it was probably the whole team was probably just trying to feel each other out. We're working so hard the whole pre-season, and then we probably just needed to relax a little bit and just find our roles, and I think we've done that really well the last few weeks. As we've all started to sort of feel each other out and how we're playing and all that type of stuff, and it's been able to impact us on the weekend, which is good.
That overcoming adversity that you mentioned just before, did you have any of the sort of same thoughts a few weeks ago when the whole team, their backs were against the wall?
Not necessarily. I knew we'd bounce back and get out of it, just from the work that we did through the pre-season and the work that we continue to do week in and week out. It can't be as bad as it ever's made out to be, but that if you can put one or two good performances through, you can really get good momentum through that. And I've been pretty positive through the whole time that it'll turn around, and when it does, it'll be pretty exciting for us.
We obviously know the level that you can produce at an All-Australian level in years gone by. How far away from that sort of level do you think you are, and do you think you can reproduce that later in this season?
Look, I'm just taking it as literally, I'm just trying to get through every training session and every game at the minute, and for me that's the most important thing, that I look forward to what comes the next day and then the day after that, and I try not to venture too far out because a lot can happen in 24 hours. So
there's been a bit made about Dyson Heppel in that lead up to that Geelong game galvanising the playing group. How much of an impact did he have on you in that week, and is he someone that you've leaned on a bit?
Yeah, look, he's been huge, through the whole pre-season when I first come, all during this year, but I think his performance in the last 2 weeks have really stamped himself as a really strong leader at this club, and he's someone that you enjoy putting the jumper on because you know what he'll give you week in, week out. I think those last 2 weeks is just a bit of icing on the cake for him.
And him bringing the group together before that Geelong game, did that have a big impact on you?
I can't even remember. That's how far my mind goes back. But yeah, look, I mean, every time he pulls the boys in, everyone's listening, so that's the main thing.
And 100 games, have you had much time to reflect on it or think about it too much?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm just looking forward to, firstly my kids, Miller and Arlo, they haven't been able to watch me play this year, so fingers crossed I can run out with them on Saturday night and have a very special moment with them. That's something that hopefully we'll get done, and hopefully I can enjoy that with them just for that 5 minutes.
How likely is that, and how emotional does that make you?
Yeah, it's pretty likely, and it means the world to me. To have your 2 daughters there, they're my whole world. So to have them there and to be able to run out with them, give them a hug and a kiss, and spend some time with them after the game will be pretty magical for me.